Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now!
Because we're gonna do a check here.
Shit, they missed.
Yeah, they missed all that. Yeah,
They
but
missed yeah.
we're still talking about Chris Pratt, so that's probably fine that they didn't hear that.
Yeah, it's better. It's just fair enough.
All right, Mike, give me some of that hot flavor.
I got some flavors for you. Chocolate, vanilla, swirled. That's 2 flavors, but now it's 1 maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of flavor. I'm too much flavor for you to handle. You got to mix it all together like that Monster Mash cereal, which I bet people are going to like less now because it's like an actual thing that you can buy. So it's like not cool anymore. You're not making your own Monster Mash. Monster Mash has gone
right around here. This is much better. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hello. You know what? I can turn myself up here. Hello, Jeff Grubb is speaking.
Grubb, I saw you losing on that trivia tower. Stream. Losing like a loser. What the fuck?
I'm mad he didn't lose like first though. So
I didn't lose first, so I was very happy about that. I was like the third or fourth to get out of the first round, so that was pretty good. And then if Kyle Bozeman just would like. I was thinking Fable, I bet as Kyle Bozeman was writing it, and I'm like, connect game, which one had to connect Fable? And then I wrote it right after him on my Discord. It was like, Fable. And I'm just like bummed out, because no one else was getting that. It's like, of course, at the same moment, we both had to think of it.
Rebecca, I forgive you for, don't worry, other people took down Jeff.
Mike, I think I got most of the stuff.
How do you think
ready.
I'd do? You think I'd win?
I think you do pretty good.
I'm a big freaking nerd. I said freaking because I accidentally called myself a big fucking nerd on Xbox Chatterdays, and I did not know if I was allowed to swear. So I asked afterwards. He's like, I was like, dang it. I used to be a good boy. I used to not like swearing, and now I'm the one swearing on shows that don't want people to swear.
I definitely have sworn on those kind of shows before.
Well, now they know. So that's our reputation now. We're trash.
I didn't even know that I'm swearing until.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
I thought people just speak like that all the time. They say fuck all the time.
I am surprised how many. Like, I guess it makes sense because we have concerns the same way. They're like, we're PG. Like, that's fine.
Kyle Bozeman. I don't know what it is.
What are you saying?
The guy that beat me in that Fable question.
What was the question?
It wasn't a question. It was music.
They were playing the music of Fable,
and no one got it. It was going. Everyone was got. And then so he started giving us hints. And then he's like, "It's a game that's." They announced a new one. There was a Connect version. There was 4 games, and then there's like right when he said the Connect one, it was like me and him both racing to it.
Yeah, I probably would have gotten it then. I don't know why I'm rolling up this.
This is very intimidating, actually, Mike.
I'm gonna attack you with it.
You're like, you probably shouldn't have got that question wrong. Now get over here, I'll beat you.
I was gardening earlier, so I had to have this belt on so that no one would see my ass crack while I was planting my garlic.
Yeah, everybody, look at my sweet Celeste sweater.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's pretty good.
And now that company is going down. Good job.
No, this one is official. This one is from Fangamer.
I thought you meant like the people made Celeste. Like, what happened to them? Oh, the t-shirt company.
Yeah, this one is officially I think it is at least.
No. All
right. Get out of here, Chris. We're gonna get started.
Yeah, let's get started.
We're gonna get started?
Yeah, we're gonna get started.
Do this shit. Do it well.
Since we're I almost tried to drink a beer.
Button. What is that?
Since we're doing this after work hours, I can have a beer again today. How about that?
Insert add stream marker. These buttons new? I haven't seen any of these before.
Everything's messed up. Here we go. Make sure everybody can see my Jurassic Park opener. There we go.
Add stream marker. That's interesting. I wonder what that's going to do. Give it a shot here.
Oh, great. Yeah, just push buttons. Nothing backing up in there.
Okay, Mike, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'm going to do the countdown, hit the record button, hit the music button, and hit this stream marker button. We'll see how that goes.
Smash that like button, everybody. Come on, what are we doing here?
Hit the like button, please, everybody. We appreciate it.
After hours, Mike drinks beer and has a belt. Yeah, after hours, Mike is your stepdad.
Wow, yeah, flashbacks for sure. All right, let's get this started. Ready?
I'm ready.
5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now. Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Minotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog.
And we are the last of the Nintendogs.
Woof, woof, woof.
Today, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is $50 a year. Animal Crossing is getting some new content, and we are talking about our favorite Nintendo series. Jeff, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I am still kind of obsessed with Metroid Dread. I beat it for a second time last night, so I'm like getting to a point where I could probably start playing other games again. But I've definitely gotten my money's worth there. That was according to the timer on the Switch, I've played for 25 hours, and that feels about right. So yeah, just kind of a lot of fun exploring different ways to play the game, different ways to do things. I definitely did some sequence breaking. That was really fun to explore and mess around with. I beat it under 7 hours, so it was like I think I got Other M was the new picture I unlocked or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was cool to see. And I'm like, I could probably beat this pretty fast now on normal mode. Maybe I should try to do that and not do some of the sequence breaking stuff and just go as fast as I can. But I don't know. I have been playing a lot of that game, so it's probably time to like try something else and then come back to this. I would like to go back and beat Aria of Sorrow, which is I know something you were doing.
I did beat Aria of Sorrow, and then I started my hard mode run of Metroid Dread, and about halfway through that. But yeah, I'm already thinking like I really want to get like under 4 hours on normal mode and maybe hard mode. Like I want to unlock all those concept art things. And I did do some sequence breaking. I got the early bombs. I got the early grapple beam. It's really fun. Like a lot of it comes down to like, again, it's like it almost feels like you're cheating, but it is this mechanic where after you like slide off a ledge, you can jump off of like after that a little bit, and it lets you do things that kind of out of order in this fun. Again, it's like that Mario Odyssey thing where it feels like you're cheating, but not really. So it's awesome.
And it's all skill based, and it feels really good. You're doing like neat little tricks to get into these little corners that you didn't think you were going to be able to get into, and it feels fantastic, just like the entire game, including the jump, which is fantastic. And people can go to hell.
You're getting spicy about the jump. I will say, I mean, look, obviously we all have different opinions about this. I think it helps that we played a lot of Metroid before, but I mean, to me, this is the best controls for a 2D game, maybe certainly a 2D like analog stick game ever. So I can't get behind any like major criticisms of the controls. I'm sure there's maybe little nitpicky things here, but you're not going to convince me that the jumping is bad.
Yes, no way. It feels fantastic. It's just you have to hold left or right while you're jumping, and you could do that from standing still, which is the thing I feel like people maybe just haven't nailed that or something. But once you nail it, it just feels you're so engaged with the action. I don't know. I like. We don't need to obsess on this, but I am really into that game, and I'm really glad it came out and was so good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And we'll talk about Metroid more later, I'm sure. We've been doing a lot of that lately. It's probably not going to stop anytime soon. Jeff, you want to talk about the MPDs first? We got the MPDs for September. They came in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Kind of a big interesting point here is that for the first time after 33 consecutive months on top, the Switch was not the best-selling console in the US. The PlayStation 5 actually did beat it in September 2021. A few factors here. PlayStation 5, there's so much demand for it, and supply is maybe catching up a little bit. Like they're basically selling as many PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series X's as they can make. So if they can make enough of them, they can outsell a Switch. Also, September, kind of an awkward month because it's the month before the OLED comes out.
Correct.
So how many people are going to buy a Switch before the revision comes out? Also, not a whole lot of games in September. Really, there's basically one new release, and we'll see how that did. So, in fact, we'll talk about software in a second here, but there isn't a Nintendo exclusive in the top 10. I feel like it's been a while since that happened. Now Mario Kart 8 is at 11, but still on the top 10.
Yeah, there were a lot of new games in September. A lot of them were sports games, but then there was some other stuff, and it was enough to like push some of those old perennial hits for Nintendo out of the top 10. But yeah, I mean, this was going to happen, and I'm not surprised that happened the month before the OLED came out. I think that for the OLED month, Switch will probably be back on top, right?
It absolutely will be because, it has that. It also has a big game in Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
I even think the whole Sora and Smash Bros. Thing is going to give that a little boost. Yeah, I think next month OLED will be on top again. So the software, Mario Kart 8 is at 11. WarioWare Get It Together is at 15. Now, you have to remember that with Nintendo, this doesn't include digital sales. And I do imagine WarioWare is a game that probably has a good amount of digital sales, but still probably not it's certainly not a super good debut for this game.
They said it was the best. Matt Piscatella of the MPD group, in his quotations he provides when they send out this data, he said that this was the best or the fastest selling WarioWare since Smooth Moves on the Wii in 2007. So not setting franchise records like a lot of other games did during this month, but coming close and selling better than some of the other WarioWare games we've seen since then. But you're right, it's not getting that Switch effect like some of the other franchises, it feels
right. At least not to a ridiculous degree. It's not Luigi's Mansion 3, right? Like this isn't going to be maybe even a 2 million seller.
Right, probably not.
And again, it's WarioWare. What are the expectations? I don't know. It's fine. Might be the last WarioWare we get for a while.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, they seem pretty inexpensive to make, but there's the opportunity cost there that they're always considering. I don't know if they get a bug up their butt about a new WarioWare idea, they might do it. But right now, if they don't do another one, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, just have them make a new Rhythm Heaven instead. What the heck?
Yeah, for real.
Then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's at number 17, Animal Crossing New Horizons at 18. So those two are almost always hovering around the top 20 somewhere or another. But, no Mario Odyssey, no Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword, even not on the top 20 anymore. Excuse me. So a lot of the sports games came out this month. That bumped a lot of things down. Deathloop came out. Tales of Arise was number 3, which was... or 3 or 4 or something. It had a very good debut for something that used to be a pretty niche franchise, right?
Set a franchise record for a Tales of game.
Did.
Yep.
Yeah. So nothing too shocking there. So kind of a slow month for Nintendo there, but we both expect a pretty big rebound. Pretty soon here with the OLED.
Do you think Metroid Dread? It's probably going to be number 2 behind Far Cry, right? It's going to be number 2 behind Far Cry. That's what it is, right?
How much carryover do these sports games have usually? I don't know. Maybe FIFA or Madden will still be in the top 5.
Or even NBA 2K could be. Right. I don't know. Maybe
it'll probably be 5. Because
there's no digital sales. So that's important to remember. It's going to be really tough for it to outsell both digital and physical for a lot of those games.
It'll probably show as well as Deathloop's a pretty good comparison because Deathloop was also when I first saw the list and I saw Tales of Arise on top of Deathloop, I was like, wow, that's kind of bad for Deathloop. Then I remembered Deathloop is a PlayStation exclusive, so that explains it a little bit. I think this game's going to sell better than Deathloop, but I still expect the charting to be similar to that.
I think you're probably right.
All right, so that's MPD. Gosh, this feels like it happened forever ago, but we haven't actually talked about this on Nintendogs yet. But the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack got its price point, $50 a year for the individual plan. There is a family plan too. It's like that scales the same way as the old one does. So it's $30 extra. It comes with the Nintendo 64 games, the Genesis games, and the Animal Crossing New Horizons expansion. Jeff, we talked a lot about this before, how much we thought this was going to cost. I think we would say that $5 would be fair, but it would obviously cost more than that. It's like maybe 10 or 20. I don't think any of us thought it was going to cost more than twice as much as the normal tier.
Yeah, no, I said 40. I thought twice as much sounds about as high as they'll go, so they'll do that, and they went even beyond that. To me, this just says that Nintendo thinks that $20 a month for the original tier, which still exists, and you could still just keep subscribed to that if you want. There was a lot of like FUD about that on Twitter, I guess, where people were saying that was being replaced by the $50 tier, and that's not the case. But what this tells me is Nintendo thinks that they undercharged and they could have got away with a lot more, and all their data says they could have got away with a lot more, and so they're going to, and here we are. I am gonna pay this. I'm gonna get it, and it's going to be mostly for online N64 games, and I bet I'm going to be pretty disappointed like when I come away with it, but I'm still going to get it, and that's what Nintendo does.
It's weird because I am always still going to get it, and even as I say, maybe I won't. Who knows? I probably will. But so Genesis games, I've talked about this before. There's already that Genesis collection, the Switch, that has basically everything you need. And even like the Castlevania game and the Contra game I have through other collections, and I also have a Genesis Mini, and to be honest, it's I put extra ROMs on there, so I basically have access to all the Genesis games I can ever want already, most of them on my Switch already. Even Nintendo 64, I'm not the biggest Nintendo 64 fan in the world. I talked about this before. Like, I like Mario 64 and I like Ocarina of Time, but I don't have love for that system in the same way I have love for the Super Nintendo or the GameCube. And I honestly don't really care about playing Mario Kart online. If I want to play Mario Kart, that's really only fun for me if I'm doing that with friends here. Like, I never played the new Mario Kart online. I don't even play the new Smash Bros. Online, and I love Smash Bros. I'm just not that interested in Nintendo Switch online gaming because it's generally not very good. And then New Horizons expansion, I don't know if I'm going to play that or not. I really don't. I liked Animal Crossing New Horizons. I stopped playing it at some point. I don't really think I'm going to go back. Maybe I will, but even if I go back, honestly, when I look at what's coming to that game with the free stuff and with the expansion, a lot of stuff I really care about seems to be in the free package anyways. And we'll talk about that later. So yeah, man, this doesn't seem that attractive to me. And again, I say that, and I'm still probably going to be a jerk and just pay this extra $30 a year to have access to it anyways, because I'll get the FOMO, and they know about the FOMO, and they know that I'm not a good person and that I'm susceptible to this kind of thing.
They know that deep down I'm lonely and have a hole inside of me that I try to fill through purchases of things that bring me nostalgic joy, and they are willing to exploit that, and more power to them. I mean, look, we talked about this on Games Beat Decides, but it sucks. It's not good. Don't buy it. We don't be like us. Don't let us get it and make, we'll come back, we'll talk about it, and we'll be like, yeah, we played it for a couple hours, and I don't know when I'm going to actually check it out again. That's going to be probably what we end up saying. And so just listen to us kind of waste our money, and you don't do it yourselves. Like, do as we say, not as we do, sort of thing. But I do think overall this is probably going to work out fine for Nintendo. If it doesn't play out immediately, they'll be able to add some other stuff. They'll figure out some other things to put in there. If they add Saturn games,
something really cool like
that alone would be like, okay, now this is like $50 easily.
Even Sega Master Games would be pretty neat, and that would actually, Saturn is, I know, difficult. Sega Master Games should be easy to do. Just do that. Even that'd be neat.
If they so that might cost more because now you're licensing even more stuff from Sega. There are other Nintendo things they could do. Game Boy Advance being the obvious one that would easily put this over $50 for many people. They're right at that age where they have a lot of disposable income, and they love the Game Boy Advance, and it would do very well.
It'd be so easy for them to be like, Golden Sun, Wario Land, Fire Emblem games. Advance Wars probably not because they're remaking those, but there are still so many Game Boy Advance games they could easily throw in this, and ones that probably aren't too difficult to license from people too. Although a lot of those have been kind of packaged together and other things, but I'm sure there are still a ton out there.
Yeah.
So, but even Game Boy and Game Boy Color, we hear that's coming. Well, let's get that.
That better be on the $20 tier, honestly. If it comes out.
I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to do whatever it takes to make this $50 tier more attractive.
I agree. Yeah,
I bet it's on the $50 tier. I think the $20 tier is only ever going to be the base functionality and Super Nintendo and NES. I think that's all it's ever going to be.
If they release Virtual Boy games, port the Virtual Boy games. I've been thinking about that ever since we said that. That'd be a lot of fun.
See, that's the thing. Like, that should have happened on the 3DS, and when it didn't happen there, it's like, well, I don't know. I guess still do it, but man, you sure didn't miss the perfect opportunity there.
Yes, you did. Yep.
So, I don't know. It's bizarre. Let's talk about that Animal Crossing Direct thing that happened and what's got announced. So on November 5th, there's going to be a free update that adds a cafe in the museum. Cap'n is back, and he's going to take you to some islands, including Harv's Island, which has a bunch of shops, including a fortune teller. You can grow and cook vegetables, and there'll be other stuff. The whole, this Harv's Island thing kind of sounds like a little bit like my prediction that they were going to add some town and city stuff to this to me. Like, that's kind of the vibe I get to that. I'm actually mostly excited for the cafe in the museum, just because by far my favorite part of that game was the museum you made, because it actually looked and felt like going to a big city natural history museum, and they all have a kind of shitty cafe, and I am a big fan of having one of those in my museum.
Yep, it feels homey, and you can hang out with your friends there and all get coffee and do something in online multiplayer where you're looks like you're spending time together. It looks nice. It looks pleasant.
And then, so then the expansion also coming out on the 5th, and it costs $25. Is Happy Home Paradise. So obviously riffing off of the Happy Home Designer game that was a separate game for 3DS. This is.
And for Wii U, there was a Wii U one.
I think it was just 3DS.
There was a Wii U game, and maybe it wasn't Happy Home Designer. Maybe it was something else.
The Wii U game was a party game, right? There was a board game for Wii U. That was the Animal Crossing spinoff there. This will let you join a paradise planning team where you get to travel to a chain of islands and design vacation homes and decorate the island facilities, including schools and restaurants. So that's kind of neat. So if you really just like the whole kind of sim element of making houses and designing things, that seems like fun. That does sound, even as I know before I said the free stuff sounded more appealing, but as I read this again, I'm like, that could be kind of fun. I mean, that is a lot of what I really enjoyed in Animal Crossing, was making the garden area or planning out this really nice outdoor entrance to my museum and stuff like that. So if the options there are cool and allow for a lot of customization, that'll be fun.
And I would imagine it's going to be substantial for a $25 DLC, right? That's pretty beefy in terms of price, right?
Yeah, are you surprised that they actually are splitting this stuff up? Or they could have just maybe because of the way that the Happy Home Paradise is on its own islands, it's pretty easy to segment that into DLC, paid DLC. Whereas a lot of that other stuff, it's kind of hard to separate that and say only free players get this and only expansion players get that.
Right, the kind of thing if you're integrating something into the museum, that's probably something you can't make people pay for, because it may if you go visit someone else's town, you're going to see that stuff, and I don't know. It just seems like you're right. The segmentation there makes some sense.
But at least they are doing stuff. It was kind of a complaint that they weren't doing enough with Animal Crossing after it became this giant success. And it kind of seems like this is the stuff that maybe they, not fast-tracked, but they got to work on once they realized what a mega hit they had.
Right.
And now this is going to come out, and it's probably going to get them a lot of money. I bet this does very well for them. This might not be the last expansion that Animal Crossing gets, is my prediction.
Yeah, I think that, they'll do this big thing, and then they'll probably look ahead to another Animal Crossing in the future on the next Switch or whatever.
Sure.
For this is paid DLC. You could pay the $25. As we mentioned, it's in the $50 per year expansion pack. But if you cancel your subscription, you will lose access to this. So you have to maintain that, which is okay. If you're getting it for the DLC, you should probably just buy the DLC outright, so you don't have to worry about that. It's half the price, and it will never go away once you buy it. So probably the right move.
Mm-hmm. Right. I wonder how many people are going to double dip and just buy the DLC and still get the $50 a year thing because they're worried about losing it if they ever stop paying for it. I don't know.
Yeah. Mattathias in chat says AC is too huge to pass up milking it. And I mean, then why isn't Nintendo milking Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is bigger than Animal Crossing and hasn't had DLC since it came out? So yeah.
The only thing I can think of there, I think we talked about this, is just that like the team, there's never was a team for it. Like that team moved on to something else, and like they just couldn't bring it back together to make DLC. Now, if you think they would get somebody to do it, or they figure out a way, and if that team is working on something else, I don't know if we know what the Mario Kart team is. I'm not actually sure which one that is even. Maybe those are the people who work on.
I can't remember. I mean, I think they did work on the mobile version a little bit, but I think they did some other stuff as well. Did they work on Animal Crossing? Was that the same team? I can't remember.
Yeah, but still, like, yeah, but Mario Kart 8 has sold like what, almost 30 million copies now. So
no, more than that, for like 35, 36 million.
They probably should have been like, yeah, here's Samus on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Like, and charge $2 for it and make $1 bazillion. Yeah, it is actually kind of weird. And I imagine the next Mario Kart is going to have better infrastructure for that kind of stuff. Because why wouldn't it? Jeff, Analog Pocket announced its own operating system. Can you tell me a little bit about this? Because I'm not entirely sure what's going on here.
Yeah, so I mean, it's basically the interface for the Analog Pocket called Analog OS. And really what it is a... they've done a lot of work to ensure that if you plug in a game, the system's going to know exactly what that game is and give you like detailed information about it. So if you get like one of the revised versions of Link's Awakening for the Game Boy from Europe, you put that in there, the system will know exactly what that is, give you all those details, and then it will be able to do the FPGA emulation, the hardware emulation, exactly right for that specific version of the game. There's other stuff where like you can get screenshots and stuff like that, and other features, kind of quality of life features similar to that. But really, it just seems like it's a well put together sort of library of games where when you put in a cartridge, it's gonna basically be like this Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy sort of situation where you put it in there, it'll give you a bunch of cool details about it, and yeah, it's neat, but it's also it's not anything too mind-boggling. It does seem really nice for that really sharp Analog Pocket screen, which is like 1440p, and on this really, it's 625 pixels per inch or something like that. So it's really sharp, and the interface looks really good on there, and the screenshots look really good and all that stuff. But really, this is just them showing off, saying, hey, we've done some extra work with the extra time we've had to make sure this is going to be like a very polished experience, and it does look very nice.
So that's cool and all. Sounds neat. Do you think it was a little weird how much they kind of hyped up this announcement and the reveal for an operating system?
I feel like so apparently this was on on October 16th, right over the weekend, and Analog has had an announcement on October 16th for the last several years, and so I think they just wanted to maintain that. And so you're right, they definitely hyped this up for this OS in a way where it's like it's a little bit overblown, but they just wanted to keep coming out the news. And the OS does seem nice. It does seem cool. I did a story on it. People could check it out if they want.
It sounds to me like they think that their whole "we have an announcement every October 16th" thing is more important than it actually is. I didn't know. I imagine most people didn't know that was
right.
A thing.
I think you're right.
But sure, that's nice. So this is interesting. There's a bug that prevents progression in Metroid Dread. It was discovered, and it's going to be patched by the end of October. I got excited. Like I thought that is there a way you can get permanently stuck in the game? But that never really made sense because you can always just like quit and save. So and apparently you trigger this if near the end of the game the player destroys a door while a map marker for that specific door is displayed on the map. Then the game will forcibly close, and the following message will appear. The software was closed because an error occurred, and you just can't progress any further. So I guess avoid doing that. If you did, there's going to be a patch by the end of October to fix this. So a little weird thing there. I don't. It's not like this is something super widespread. I haven't really heard anybody complaining about this happening to them, but it is a possibility. So let that terrify you.
And it's good that they're going to fix this and get it out of there. And it's something that I just said that Link's Awakening revisions. There's like 18 different versions of Link's Awakening when you take into account all the different revisions and regions. And it's, they could just update this, and it's not a problem anymore, and that's really great.
Mm-hmm. Last thing here, Demon Turf is launching on November 4th. Jeff, this is that indie 3D platformer with the 2D sprites with the kind of fun demon look to it. I've been talking about it before, and I usually forget the name of it. It's coming out to a lot of platforms, but if it runs well on Switch, that's definitely why I want to play it. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, honestly. I don't know the first thing about it.
I can't believe it. I'm going to show you a tweet because you would remember this if you saw it, because it showed up at one of the things or another at some point, like somebody's I forget what team and surf.
It does.
Yeah, this game.
It does.
You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks super fun.
Oh
really
yeah.
intense.
Yeah, that's got that style to it. Hard to describe it. Yeah, that looks really cool.
It looks super fun. It kind of reminds me of that Sonic Robo Blast 2, which is one of the cooler looking Sonic mods ever.
Yeah, it reminds me of it has the color palette of the cover of the game Cell Shaded for Xbox, or was it Xbox 360 or something like that? But definitely better than that.
My only disappointment is that this is coming out after Halloween. I bet they wanted to get it out before Halloween, but hey, here we are. All right, that's it for the news. Jeff, we got a bunch of questions here. And hey, if you guys have any questions, you could send in a super chat. Or if you want to tell us what your favorite Nintendo series is, you also send us a super chat for that, because that's going to be our discussion topic after we get through these questions. Jeff, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
As soon as I say that, I got a little...
Mike's not ready, everybody. Just take a second.
Ready.
Give him a second.
I lied.
Don't stare at him. Don't look at him.
Beer, help!
Yeah, beer. That's totally very, very good for the throat. I understand.
Yeah. And the liver. Thank you. All right. Wildfire Alex asks, just how much more of our money does Nintendo want? Oh, they want it.
All of it.
They want us. They want a lot. It is like, so. Like, I think we are resigned. Like, okay, they can get away with this. When could they have not gotten away with it? Would we at $60? We would still be like, this sucks, but they can get away with it. Because at $60, you're like, wow, they think that they can charge as much as Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, probably. That's probably it's probably exactly the line, and they probably know that. They're like, this is still not as much as like some of these other companies are charging. Right. So, yeah, I think that's probably the line.
No, if they had said $70, there's no way they absolutely could not have gotten away with that.
Right, totally. And 50. You know, a lot of people are saying like, yeah, we're not going to get this. And I think that's true for many people, but I think enough people are going to get it. That's still going to make sense for Nintendo. But at 60 and 70, clearly that would have been much more of a hellfire for them in terms of the reaction.
All right. Low Rule Legend asks, with the Prime 1 remake, do you think it'll be similar to scale to Xenoblade Chronicles Deluxe Edition, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or somewhere in between? I think that Xenoblade Chronicles on Switch is going to be a pretty good comparison point here, with like quality of life improvements and some like slight graphical updates, like some slightly newer character models and stuff like that. But not the Final Fantasy VII Remake is them like reimagining the game on top of everything else, right? And then somewhere in the middle there is like Shadow of the Colossus, which is kind of a one-to-one remake, just only on the visual side. I don't think it's going to be that intense. I think Xenoblade Chronicles is where I expect this Metroid Prime 1 thing to be.
I think that's right. That sounds right. Yeah, that game doesn't need a ton. Like, it looks great already. So, yeah, I think it's going to be closer to kind of a remaster than a full remake. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Anderson64 says, should I feel bad about not minding the expansion pass price tag? I feel like if the DLC was something for like Mario Kart, no one would be upset. I mean, you know, if you don't mind it, you don't mind it. It's, you know, I don't know if I want to say it's evil, right? It's jerky and it seems a little bit much to me, but I don't blame a person if they are just kind of okay with it.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead and get whatever. Yeah, it's your money. Spend it how you want. That's fine. Other people will probably try to get. There was some people like getting mad at people saying, "Oh, I'm going to get this," and they're like, "Oh, defending Nintendo or whatever." And you're not defending Nintendo. You're just getting what you want, and that's fine.
I mean, plus, trust me, if I like Nintendo 64 games more than I do, that would probably be enough for me to be excited about this. But again, like the one Nintendo 64 game I feel very strongly about is Mario 64, and I have that on Switch already. So, all right. Aaron Tonsis asks, how do you guys want the future of Mercury Steam and Metroid to look? Do you want a proper Metroid 6, or should they take a crack at remaking something like Super Metroid or Metroid Fusion? I don't think any of the other Metroid games need a remake anymore. Right. I don't think you need to remake Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion. I mean, Zero Mission's already a great remake of 1. Yeah, the only ones that ever needed remakes were 1. Even that like would be maybe debatable, but they did a very good job with Zero Mission. And 2 needed a remake, obviously. It was a Game Boy game. It was we had maps in the games. There's lots of reasons why that. No, I want Metroid 6. I want them to just kind of do what they did. There's some, without talking about spoilers here, there are things that they could do to make a 6 stand out and make it kind of interesting. So I just played all 3 of those Castlevania Game Boy Advance games, and I never got bored. And that's going to be the risk if you start making a new Metroid game every 3 years, right? It's going to get worse reviews over time. Some people are going to get tired of it, but for me, it'll just keep being fantastic, and I would be very happy.
Yep, same, all that for me too. Yep, I want Metroid 6.
Yeah, and I absolutely, I know that they say like Metroid 5 is like kind of like an end, but just
start a new story that takes place afterward, that picks up where it left off. It could be a new arc, whatever.
Well, yeah, even 5 already kind of like did away with like doing so many mandatory Metroid things. So I think they can absolutely do even more. It's in space, right? The possibilities are endless. Heck, like Earth does exist in the Metroid universe. Wouldn't it be kind of interesting if there was an Earth Metroid game?
Yeah, that would be cool. I would like to see that. Yeah, do something like that.
See, lots of possibilities still. Nintendo Bro says one of these songs from the Wind Waker soundtrack gets put on vinyl, one gets put on an iPod Shuffle, and one gets put on an 8-track tape. Here are the songs whose fates are now in your hand. Windfall Island, Outset Island, and Dragon Roost Island. Jeff, I don't even think you know these songs. You probably know Dragon Roost. I don't know.
I couldn't not just if you say the name, I'm not gonna be able to do the tunes or anything like that.
Yeah, you're not a true Wind Waker fan like I am.
That's right. Yes.
You're not cool. Like no wonder you lost your trivia contesty thing.
Yeah,
and on a song.
Yeah, as soon as music happened, I'm like, I'm screwed here. You know what? Don't care for music that much.
Really?
No, it's not true. But it's just like I don't dedicate a lot of mind power to remembering details about music. I just enjoy listening to it in the moment.
I mean, you are the guy who loves the Cruisin' Blast theme song, so yes, I believe that you don't have great musical taste.
What's your point? I don't understand.
All right, so I'll answer this then. Dragon Roost Island is by far the best song of those 3. That gets put on vinyl, even though I don't have a record player, so maybe I should just want it on an iPod Shuffle if you provide me with an iPod Shuffle. And then Outset Island, iPod Shuffle, and we'll put Windfall on the 8-track tape. Really, Dragon Roost is the one I feel the most strongly about. Jotun, or Jake, he even specified how to pronounce it for me, and I just immediately forgot. I think it was Jayton. We'll go with Jayton. Do you think Tamagotchi Life could get the Miitopia treatment and be ported to Switch? Jeff, what do you think?
I think it could. I don't know how much appetite Nintendo has for that, but I guess I would have said the same thing about Miitopia. I think Tamagotchi Life would have a better chance of success than Miitopia. And I think Miitopia even did okay. If it came out and it was like $30 or $40, it would probably be just fine. I hope they do that. That'd be great. Tamagotchi Life is awesome.
I have no strong feelings. I do remember that came out. We were in San Francisco, right, for GDC.
That sounds right.
Because I remember you were really glued to your phone with that. I remember walking through the streets of San Francisco and you were like trying to set up you were like, wasn't there some weird speaking thing in that? You would talk and then somebody would talk back funny to you. You liked that a lot. You're easily amused.
Yeah, you could you could put in lyrics or something and then it would sing it in the robot voices. And I made a song about how pants are like prisons for your legs. I still have that somewhere. I should find that.
Very, very nice, Jeff.
Thank you, Mike.
Very good. Matt OK says, what developer should Nintendo put on the next Donkey Kong Country game? And when do you think we'll see it? Well, I mean, I know I'm still kind of on that Metroid Dread hype, but Mercury Steam sure did make a very good 2D game. Kong Country is all platforming, so that could make some sense. I'd rather they just make a Metroid game again, because I like Metroid more than Donkey Kong Country. I mean, honestly, I think if you wait till Retro Studios makes Metroid Prime 4 and then just have them make another Donkey Kong Country, that'll also be fine. A lot of people really liked Tropical Freeze, right?
Yeah, I think people love that game, so I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know, at this point though, it feels like all the studios that would do it are pretty busy or should be busy doing other stuff, and they could leave Donkey Kong Country alone for a while,
unless the actual Mario team is making a 2D Donkey Kong game, which
but I don't think that would be Donkey Kong Country. I think they would do Donkey Kong,
and I still don't think it would be 2D, but what do I know?
Right.
Yami Seth asks, so it seems with all the new announcements from NIS America for the Switch, they try to focus on the platform. Do you think they will release all their games with low effort ports on there just because they need to be there with the success of Nintendo, especially in Japan? Or will the Switch version of Monarch actually be great? What is Monarch?
I don't know, Mike. It's Monarch, A-R-K.
Yeah, I gotta look up what Monarch is. What? Oh man, this is a very Japanese looking game.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they should try to put some effort into the Switch versions of their games, because Switch is very popular in all the territories and with all the kinds of people that those kinds of games would succeed with. So, yeah, they should put effort into it. But I don't know. I have no insight.
Is NIS, are they the Trails people? Yeah, they're the Trails people. They should be putting a ton of effort into those games, because those games could all sell incredibly well on Switch. So, yeah, in fact, like, I think that I don't know if they'd ever make it the lead platform instead of PC, but they should be doing very good ports. I mean, Trails in the Sky was PSP first and then ported to PC, and that was fine. So, honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't want to lead on Switch for that stuff. Jeff, that's the end of the questions I got from the community. I think we got we got one super chat there. You want to read that for us?
Yeah. Let's see. This one's from Queso Jalal. Mike, thanks for recommending Hollow Knight. I started this week and I haven't touched anything else, even Metroid. It's one of the best games ever. So yeah, there you go.
That's what you should do now. You're on a big Metroidvania kick after you finish Area of Sorrow.
And I bet that looks pretty good on the OLED. So I will go play that next. That sounds great.
Not a terrible Halloween game.
Yeah, they kind of like, it's spooky enough. Yeah,
it's spooky-ish. It's Halloween adjacent.
Yes, right, and that's fine. That's totally fine with me. Halloween adjacent is all I ask for during October. So yeah, I'll give that a shot. That sounds great.
I actually have been getting a bit of an itch to replay it, but there's so many other things to play. But I've been thinking about Hollow Knight a lot lately, actually, probably because I've been playing so many Metroidvanias.
Right.
All right, Jeff. Let's talk about our favorite Nintendo series. I thought it would be fun if we guessed each other's first. How about that? We know each other pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I'll go first, because you're difficult, because it's either just Metroid. It could just be Mario with you. That's the thing, or Metroid, or it could be one of those weird ones you like. Although I feel like your slightly mellow reception to WarioWare Get Together has cooled your burning passion for that series a little bit. Nick Turbo, I missed your question. How did I miss your question? I went through so diligently.
I think you said Knooble asked the question. Oh, and then you missed my questions. Nick Turbo, we'll get to him later.
Yeah, I'll find him later. So let's see. I bet it. You know what? You look like a basic bitch to me. I bet it is just Mario.
All right, now should I tell you if you're right, or should I guess yours, and then we'll say?
Tell me if I'm right. You do yours.
Mike, I'm a basic bitch, and Mario is my favorite.
Yep. I almost said Metroid. I almost thought that your recent incredible love for Metroid Dread pushed you over the edge.
But Metroid is definitely up there. That's some good. But like, there's just something about the aesthetics and the vibe of Mario, and the blue skies, and the fun, and the exploration, and the music. Everything is perfect. So yeah, I'm a Mario guy.
Oh, no wonder I missed these. Yeah, so some questions came in like after 5:30, so I think before we started
the show.
I should have checked to make sure, but I'll get to those after Jeff guesses mine now. All right, Jeff. So yours is Mario. What about me?
Okay, it's Nintendo, right? So like Nintendo first party.
So it's not Mega Man. Don't worry.
Right? Yeah, right. I'm like, okay, so what's the most Mega Man like Nintendo franchise?
That's a good question. What is the most Mega Man adjacent?
They're all like Mega Man X, really, if you think about it.
Oh my god.
Mike, is it Mario?
No, it's not Mario. That might be second. It's actually Super Smash Brothers would probably be number one.
Oh, those are the okay. If I would have remembered that, I would have said that for sure.
But that's usually how things work. Yeah. When you remember the correct answer, then you say it. Right.
Smash Brothers exists. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Those are the games I get the most excited about. Like whenever there's a new Nintendo system, that's what I am usually thinking about first. Is what is the new Smash Brothers going to look like? I do wonder if in the future that might change, just because I do feel like Ultimate kind of nailed it. And I'm like a lot of people, I am wondering just where exactly that goes anymore. I remember Super Smash Bros. Brawl was one of the most excited, that was like the most excited I ever was for a game. Maybe tied with Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, Brawl was a bit of a disappointment, but I didn't know that at the time. But yeah,
but like you follow up to Melee at that point, you're like, this is going to be the best thing ever. Yeah.
I love Mario a lot. I told you before, though, the thing with Mario is that I like the 3D games a ton. And I like the 2D games about an average amount, as much as your typical gamer probably does, as you know, and I super appreciate them. And some of them I do really like, but the 3D ones, I love. And then Metroid is also just very close because it's Metroid and it's pretty much always fantastic. All right, we can. I'll ask some of these other questions that I missed here now. Nick Turbo asked, "Is there any Fighter Pass 2 amiibos you plan to get? I want to get Steve and Sora." Yeah, I want the Sora one. Besides from that, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody else from Season Pass 2 I cared particularly about. Now I think about it, and I always said I didn't like get disappointed because I got so many Smash Bros. Characters I wanted already. There weren't a ton of Season Pass 2 fighters that I cared that much about. Like, we got a character from ARMS, Min Min. That's fine. I bet a lot of people even forgot that Min Min's in Smash, but that happened. We got the mommy Dommies from Xenoblade. That's okay. We got a character from Tekken. I just don't have to be a big Tekken guy. I'm not a big Minecraft guy. And Sephiroth was both interesting and kind of boring, right? Like that, like so many Final Fantasy characters we can do. And I get it. It's Sephiroth. That's a pretty big name. So I didn't begrudge them it, but it didn't exactly set my world on fire. But no, Sora as an amiibo, I want that. So that's really the only one. Jeff, are you getting any of those amiibos?
No, I don't think so. I don't
Not
need
even
to buy
Sora?
Anymore. Well, let me think. No, definitely not. I don't need to get into any more plastic stuff in my life. My house is a mess as it is, and I got enough of my kids' toys everywhere. I don't need my toys everywhere.
I did track down the Metroid Dread amiibo that comes with the Emmy, and I'm very happy about that. I did
think about that, yeah, because it does look cool, and the Emmys are cool. But I don't know. If I stumble across one, maybe I'll get it, but it'll probably all be sold out by then.
Nick Turbo also says, rate the Nintendo handhelds from best to worst. Color is its own platform. Okay, let's see. From best to worst, I would go DS, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, Game Boy Color, Virtual Boy. That's all of them, right? Let's assume Switch doesn't count. If Switch counts, then it's number one.
What's the question? What, like you said, color?
What, Jeff? Rank the Nintendo handhelds, and Color is its own platform.
Oh, okay. Color. Okay, I only heard that.
You hear the word color, you don't even associate it with Game Boy.
I mean, it's a very minor thing. Okay. Handheld. Yeah, Switch would be number one if it count, and then I would Game Boy Advance. I think DS, 3DS, Game Boy Color, Game Boy's really good. I don't know why it's down so low, and then Virtual Boy. I guess, yeah.
We're almost similar. Yeah, I put Game Boy in front of Color. You put Color in front of it, even though you don't think it's its own platform.
Well, it plays all the Game Boy games. So,
great. Also from Mick Turbo, not necessarily a Nintendo question, but the game is on Switch, so it counts. Jeff, is Forgotten City a type of game where it is better to know nothing about it beforehand?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you find out something about it, I don't think it's going to ruin it, because it's still the act of going through and discovering the things yourself will still be really rewarding. But if you know nothing going in and you start playing, you're going to have a really good time, I think. Just throw yourself, just trust people that, there's a lot of people singing its praises. Trust them. Go and give it a shot. I think it's on sale on a couple platforms. I think the cloud version has hit Switch already. Is that true? Or I can't remember exactly. But yeah, just go play it, and trust me, you'll have a good time. It's really fun.
I wonder if I know I have it on PC now. I wonder if I'm going to play it on Game Pass when that happens.
That's right. Yeah, Game Pass. Yeah, everyone should just get it there.
All right. Knuble asks, do you remember your first non-Nintendo IP eShop purchase on Switch? Mine was Tumbleseed. Wasn't why am I forgetting that? Shovel Knight. Wasn't Shovel Knight on their day one? I think it might have just been that.
Yeah, it was early. Yeah.
I think I just got that. I think Yoko's Island Express was another early one that a lot of people got just because it was an early game and it was fun to get. Oh, what about you, Jeff?
Maybe Gunman Clive.
Yeah, Gunman Clive.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I'm having a hard time putting myself on a
Golf
timeline.
Story was very early also. I think a lot of people got Golf Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think mine was just Shovel Knight, actually. Hey, we got another super chat. You want to read that?
Yeah, let me get it here. Let's see. Go to Stream Elements. I just hit the X button to close it instead. So let me reopen that.
This is kind of an answer to our Nintendo series questions. This will get us back on that track because that's it for questions.
Fantastic. So Jared Helder writes in with the super chat and says, Mario Kart always makes me buy Nintendo consoles. So kind of similar to what you said about Smash Brothers and the reasoning in there. Mario Kart is that for Jared. So I'm assuming that Mario Kart is Jared's favorite Nintendo franchise, and I bet that's not an uncommon answer. That's 30.
Well, based off of sales.
Yeah, if we look at the sales, I bet if you go to ask any person on the street, that's probably going to be the most common one, and it makes sense. It's a very fun party game.
All right, let's get to some of these other answers from our community about their favorite Nintendo series. Nick Turbo says, my favorite Nintendo series is Fire Emblem. The Fire Emblem game on Game Boy Advance with Roy that did not release outside Japan is the only game I played with a fan translation. How have they not just translated that to the US yet? But yeah, Fire Emblem is good stuff, and it's been doing well. I'm expecting them to announce some kind of a new Fire Emblem thingy relatively soon.
Yeah, I feel like we're due
for a remake or something.
Yeah.
Turbo Sean says, my favorite Nintendo series is my favorite video game series, period, Metroid. Let me tell you, being a big fan of Metroid, Mega Man, Star Fox, Sonic, Darkstalkers, and Marvel vs. Capcom, it's not easy loving video games sometimes. Thankfully, Nintendo of all companies is making me happy by showing some love to Metroid with Dread, Prime 4, and the rumor Prime 1 remaster / remake something or other. I've loved the series' focus on action, exploration, and a badass heroine in Samus Aran ever since I played Fusion and Prime on Kmart demo kiosks back in the day. Shout out to my favorite memory of the series, walking into the Phendrana Drifts in Prime for the first time while it snowed due to a classic Wisconsin blizzard. The winter wonderland outside our apartment's patio door mixed with the sights and incredible music on the TV and delicious bowl of chicken noodle soup keeping me warm to make a childhood memory I'll always cherish. That is incredible, but it also has maybe the most dated moment for Metroid Prime 1 when that really low quality texture of Ridley's shadow kind of glides on the surface and it's not animated.
That moment really still choppy. Works for me. I know you're right, but it still works for me.
That shadows, that's maybe that's the one thing they'll remaster.
Yes, there you go. That's all they need to do.
That one shadow look a little bit nicer. Wildfire Alex says it's Zelda because of course it is. And then Low Rule Legend with a very similar take says my favorite game series is Zelda because it's fucking Zelda. Of course it is. All right. The Zelda fans don't even feel like they need to justify it. I think Crimson 13 is going to give us a little bit more here. He says my favorite series is definitely Legend of Zelda as well by Nintendo. The way the adventure and journey is, plus the world, I cannot stress enough how awesome it was when Ocarina of Time came out, even Link to the Past. By being the first 3D thing I really played, it really solidified itself as this iconic or epic adventure that was never seen before. I don't think I was invested in an adventure in a game until Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and then Final Fantasy 7 and 9 on the PlayStation side. So we're getting some Zelda love here, which I expected.
Right.
Knuble says, Pokemon. It was my first big passion, and I still love the idea behind it. I'm not the biggest fan of the last two mainline games, but I still have the old ones and replay them nearly every year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's our first Pokemon answer. This community, we used to get so many Pokemon answers when we were asking about favorite games on specific consoles, right? I was always expecting more Pokemon. Giggy says, gonna have to say Metroid is my current favorite franchise. There are too many good memories to count, and I'm always excited every time there is a new one announced. It helps to find a genre of games that remains one of my favorites to play. So far, what I find interesting, Jeff, is a lot of times we ask these questions, we get some kind of weird answers or maybe unexpected ones. People are kind of playing the type here. When it comes to franchise, I don't think people get too weird here. When
you talk about franchises, at a certain point, consistency comes into play.
Yes, and
the franchises that have come up so far have been the ones that have been the most consistently impressive or been able to reinvent themselves multiple times. I think every single one has been ones that have had a 2D version that moved to 3D successfully. So, except for maybe Pokemon, I guess, which is in the process of doing that now. But all the other ones are they've done everything and have pleased people consistently over time, and that's important.
Right, maybe you love Star Fox 64, but you're probably not going to say that Star Fox is your favorite Nintendo series.
Right, yeah, too many misses.
Because why would you?
Yeah.
Now, there have been 2 Star Tropics games, so that's technically a series. I'm just saying that would have been a viable option.
Star Tropics did enter my brain when you asked me what yours was, so I'm I considered it for a half a second.
Right. Did I just? What was the last one I said? Was it Knubble's Pokemon? Or did I read Giggy's Metroid answer?
You read Giggy because because Giggy usually comes with the deep cuts, and he went with Metroid. So I think
that's right.
Let's spark that there for you.
Nintendo Bro says my favorite Nintendo franchise is Metroid. The only thing I can tell you to help you understand why is to go play the games, and experience the magic for yourself. If you haven't already, there's a lot of Metroid love, and I wonder if that would have happened if Dread hadn't just come out, or if that's just normal.
Sure
that
helps.
Yeah, I think it helps. I think it helps reinforce a lot of people's love for Metroid.
It definitely is for me right now. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Benji Pop says, I'm picking Mario Kart for my favorite Nintendo franchise. I've been in love ever since I played it on the Nintendo 64 at a friend's house. I remember playing against friends with the link cable on GBA, the grueling 16-race all-cup gauntlet on Double Dash, and sinking so many hours on the school bus playing the DS version. Admittedly, I skipped the Wii version and just put in the Double Dash disc instead, but then when 8 came out on the Switch, I was all the way back in. It's potentially Nintendo's most stable franchise and has never failed to disappoint. Jeff, how strongly do you feel about Mario Kart?
I mean, I'm like, I only need the most recent one that I like the most. Which is now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And so, like, I don't think about it as a franchise. Like, I don't have any itch to go back and play Double Dash or Mario Kart 64, really, or Super Mario Kart. I'm just happy playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it remakes enough of the levels. It's like I still get a lot of the vibes from those old games, but I don't have to go, like, I can just stick with the excellent mechanics of the most recent one. So I don't think of it in terms of a franchise. I'm just like, I'm happy I have that one game. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I could maybe go back to Double Dash just because, one, it's GameCube, and two, it was kind of different, so there's nostalgia there.
Sure, yeah.
But I like Mario Kart. Obviously, I feel like I don't like it as much as some people. I actually have fun going through the Grand Prix and stuff. And once I do that, I'm kind of like done. And I'll play it when my friends want to, but I'm never the one like, come over, we're playing Mario Kart. If I'm inviting people over, it's for Smash Brothers.
I'll play it online every once in a while when I get the itch, and that's still fun. But I still haven't gotten 200 or perfect golds in all 200 CC, so occasionally I find myself trying to do that.
Historiography says favorite Nintendo franchise is Zelda. Mario and Metroid are close behind. I have played most of the Zelda games with my dad, which is a huge part of my choice, but I really enjoy the puzzles and the loosely connected stories between the games. Link to the Past, Wind Waker, and Breath of the Wild are exceptional entries in the series that, for me, represent the pinnacle of the series in its various iterations. Charles says, my favorite franchise would be between Pokemon for all the childhood memories and Fire Emblem for the current day. Virtually all I played on my Game Boy Advance and DS was Pokemon. This made me get a 3DS, which introduced me to many new Nintendo games. Since then, I have dropped off Pokemon and loved some Fire Emblem. Played all the 3DS games and Three Houses. Now I am going back to the Game Boy Advance ones. I wonder if that's not too unusual a progression path there. There's a lot of kids who loved Pokemon who maybe got, like, kind of like me, got a little frustrated when Pokemon stopped getting more and more complex and sort of regressed a little bit to welcome a new generation of kids, which again, it makes sense, but maybe felt left behind by that. Maybe they went to Fire Emblem and they kind of got some complexity there that they were craving.
There's probably something to that for sure. I definitely I liked Pokemon and then really loved Fire Emblem because it was more complicated and there was more stuff going on. So yeah, maybe that's exactly what happens.
Napper says favorite series is Mario. I thought it was Zelda when Breath of the Wild released, but Odyssey quickly made me realize that Mario will always be my main jam. I feel like we haven't actually gotten that many Mario answers so far. We got you.
There's me, and was there one other? Was there even one other?
I don't think so. I think Napper's the first one. Like it's probably my second. It's hard to say. Yeah, because I think like a lot of people like Mario, Metroid, Zelda are all fantastic and all like very close.
Yep, that's how it is for me. They're all very close, and definitely when I got done with Breath of the Wild, I was the same way. And then Odyssey, I still like Breath of the Wild even more than Odyssey, but just in terms of the character and the attraction to that world, I am a Mario guy.
Interesting, because I like Odyssey more than Breath of the Wild, and I think that's when I'm like, I like Mario more than Zelda overall.
Right, yeah.
But I made that choice. Jayton, which I can now confidently say is Jayton. Okay, so here's a slightly more offbeat answer. Gonna give a shout out to Rhythm Heaven. It doesn't get enough love.
Fantastic.
And the 3DS and Wii games are some of my favorites I've ever played. Yeah, those games are a lot of fun, and I hope we get another one of those. Yeah.
I the one I really played the most was the DS one, but I played all the other ones too. The original DS one. And my wife played it too, and we got addicted to that game. It's fantastic.
All right, so remember how I said nobody would say Star Fox?
Yeah.
Argent says, growing up, I loved Star Fox and then Metroid. Nintendo in Space does some good stuff. I feel a little bitter they never got the attention or treatment of Mario and Zelda, but I am happy that at least Metroid is seeing a resurgence with the release of Dread. Okay, so that's like a half C's for Star Fox. Let's see what Sosuke says. It's got to be Star Fox. It was the first game I got with my Pikachu Edition 64. Man, that move, man. I feel like I'm in the 90s now. And I remember being able to beat it in like 30 minutes and just doing that every day for like 6 months because it was so much fun. And the Star Fox RPG that came to GameCube was incredible. And I hope they bring it back someday, but it's probably going to be long forgotten. You know, someday I'm going to go and play Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah, I've started it so many times, and I feel like there's probably something good there. I don't know. It gets off to a slow start, and it's not as good as Zelda, obviously, right away. So It's like, okay, it's going to be kind of a bad. It looks great though. It's a GameCube game. It looks fantastic. So they probably could just port it and edit it a little bit and re-release it now. It'll probably do pretty okay.
Maybe someday when GameCube games are actually on Switch, like this will be one of them, and it's like, all right. Like, what can stop me now? I will play Dinosaur Planet or whatever Star Fox Adventure. Was the full name Star Fox Adventure Dinosaur Planet, or was it just Star Fox Adventure?
Just Star Fox Adventure. They some of that Dinosaur Planet N64 code got out there. I really want to play that, but I haven't had a chance to do it.
Yeah, that's nuts. You have to wonder how much better that would have done as a Nintendo 64 game, because I bet much. Simonorono says, Pokemon Yellow was the very first video game I ever laid eyes on, and I've been hooked since. Because of some money issues, the last one I played was Pokemon Sapphire until I got the chance to buy a Switch and play Let's Go and Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I love them. I'm playing the 3DS titles while I wait for the Sinnoh remakes and Legends Arceus. I'm very excited for those. So there you go. There's another Pokemon answer. Schwa218 has an answer I think you're going to like here, Jeff. My favorite series has to be the Nintendo Wars series. Yeah. I'm an old school PC gamer. Give me Civ 1 and 2 any day. The ability to have a turn-based series on the go. Scratch that itch for me. Advance Wars for Game Boy Advance was my first, and I went back and ported the old Game Boy and Famicom series later. Okay, how much of a fan are you, Jeff? Have you ever played Famicom Wars?
I've definitely tried it, but I haven't played through it or anything like that. I've loaded up on an emulator here once or twice.
Wow, you sound like a filthy casual.
You know what? This is a lot like me though. Like I think I was playing Civ 3. I think I probably played Civ 2 first, which I pirated on my parents' computer in their loft, and then and I was like looking for something like that, and then Advance Wars came out. I'm like, oh, that has like turn-based combat. Maybe there's something there, and I got really hooked on Advance Wars because of that.
I just called you a filthy casual, so now I'm going to admit that I couldn't play Civilization until they made that Xbox 360 one, Civilization Revolution. That was way dumbed down. Then I understood.
Casual,
Yeah, I know. He continued, Zelda, Metroid, and Mario are clearly more impactful and better series, but I'm surprised how many of those games I only finished 60 to 70% of and never went back. I beat nearly every game in the War series, a sign of a fun time. Here we go. Do you think the Advanced Wars collection is going to do better or worse than WarioWare did on Switch?
I think it'll do a little bit better. I think it's going to do probably around Pikmin 3 numbers. So like 2 million-ish.
Okay. Mogos87 says, my favorite Nintendo franchise is Punch-Out. As a kid, I grew up playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out, but I wasn't able to beat Super Punch-Out until I was in high school. And it was such a satisfying feeling when I finally beat that damn game. Hoy Quarlau still haunts my dreams. I'm not a big Super Punch-Out guy, so I don't know.
It's not ringing a bell for me either. Let me see here.
That's like the one I didn't play was Super Punch-Out. I think there's a lot of people who play Punch-Out 1.
Hoy Quarlau is like the one at the very end. Okay.
So the remake they made for the Wii is wildly underrated and deserves to be ported to the Switch. Yes, it does. Also, the Puzzle League series deserves an honorable mention. The Puzzle League series is good. Yeah, Punch-Out doesn't have any bad games. Like, it doesn't have many games, but they're all pretty good.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting answer.
Yeah, Punch-Out's good. Yeah, that is in my top 5 maybe. I love Punch-Out.
Yami Seth says, my favorite franchise is Zelda, but I love probably every Nintendo series, so I demand you talk about all of them, Mike Minotti. Okay, every single one. Well, you have Donkey Kong, and that's about a monkey, and he throws barrels. Then
it's
after
an ape,
that,
actually, it's an ape. It doesn't have a tail, so it's an ape.
Well, then I'm gonna stop because I don't even know what I'm talking about. And I'm only embarrassing myself. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Ajka, my brother, I didn't actually know his answer here. I'm a little surprised. He says the best Nintendo franchise. Oh, that is not Mario or Zelda. So he's trying. Okay, is the Mario Kart series. So what he's saying is that it would be Mario or Zelda, but he didn't want to say those because he didn't want to be a normie. So then it is in his quest to not be a normie, he says Mario Kart. Okay. He says they're always a fun blend of gameplay, fan service, and party game, equally fun with friends or solo. Each Mario Kart entry has always managed to bring something new to the table. The only bummer is that thanks to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we may not get a new Switch-specific entry, though I still hold out hope for a Super Kart Bros game that arrives, and it's that I still feel like that's where they need to go with the next Mario Kart.
How exciting would that be if they revealed that?
So cool.
It would be if they just said it was like Mario Kart throughout the whole trailer, and then at the end, like it just pans out and it's like everyone is here, and like it would be that would break the internet. I feel like that would be such a big moment.
Yeah, that'd be super cool because not only all the characters but the tracks. Like that was like the best part of the DLC. More so than playing as Link was the Legend of Zelda track,
the Animal Crossing track, which is fantastic, so good.
The F-Zero tracks were so cool, right?
F-Zero tracks and the music. They redid the music. God damn! I mean, it's our theme song, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I hope they do that. All right. So that is that. Those are all the answers we got. Thank you so much, everybody. We got a couple more super chats. Jeff, do you want to read those?
I do, in fact. All right. Let's see here. I got Jared Helder. So let's see. The next one's T-Bucket23. Hey, Beef Boys, love the show. Of the Switch games announced for next year, which of those games are you most anticipating?
Oh God, I'm trying to do a quick little memory refresher. I feel like Splatoon 3 is the first one that came to my mind. Now, if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out next year, then sure, Breath of the Wild 2. But I'm excited for Splatoon 3. I really am.
What? Hang on. Nintendo Switch 2022 games.
I mean, so Bayonetta
I can't
will
remember.
be coming out. Yeah, there is a lot. Bayonetta will be happening. I like Bayonetta, but not like a crazy amount. Rachel Kazer, our new writer, loves Bayonetta, so I'm sure that's going to be her pick there. But man, I'm trying to think if there's anything you would be as excited for as I was for Metroid Dread, and honestly, probably not next year because I certainly don't expect Metroid Prime 4 to be next year.
What about Pokemon Legends Arceus?
No, I still can't believe that game's coming out in January. It's almost kind of like with what was the game that was just delayed? Elden Ring. Elden Ring, yeah. I don't know why I blanked on Elden Ring, right? It's like those games don't seem real. And I'm shocked that game was only delayed a month, right? Because like that seems too soon. And I get that there's this whole like separation between 2021 and 2022 for these people. So, but still, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still skeptical of that one in a lot of ways. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. We'll see. I think Splatoon 3. Is Kirby in the Forgotten Land next year? Holy shit. It's that. That's right. Okay. Thank you, Pat. Yes, that's it. I forgot. I knew I was forgetting something.
What? Kirby no triangle strategy? Just because they dropped the project. You're mad that they dropped the project. I didn't like Octopath Traveler. I'll be honest. That was a big disappointment for me. I didn't even like Bravely Default 2. So I don't know. Like after straight up falling, like I really loved the first Bravely Default. But since then, I don't know about that. Like, it looks really, really cool. I'll tell you what, I really want to play, like, I haven't beaten Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, that's what I really want to do, is go back to do that some point. Or I'd like to see that ported over to Switch. That'd be good.
But by the way, like, Kirby is also probably the one that I get it, why it's not anybody's favorite Nintendo series, but I am a little sad it didn't get any love, because I do like Kirby a lot.
There's a lot of games that are kind of
there's a lot of middling games.
Yeah,
a lot of mid.
A lot of mid. Yeah.
But to make up for it, it does have a lot of weird games too, right? Yes, like it's the series that has the Kirby's Avalanche and Kirby's Dream Course and Pinball and Mass Attack, Canvas Curse. A lot of weird stuff. Sorry, someone said Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Mario plus Rabbids, my new favorite Nintendo franchise, by the way.
Really?
No.
I was about to say.
I like it. I like it. They're good games, but I just don't. It's not like when I think of Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, I'm not like, oh, I gotta play that. It's like, oh, hopefully it's good, and hopefully it's more of the same. And when it comes around, I'll definitely play it. But I'm not gonna be thinking about it much until it gets here.
All right. There's more super chats. Actually, more even came in after that.
Yes, I am gonna get to those right now. Let's see here. Oh yeah, okay, wow. So Victor Marinez says Pokemon owns my wallet and Fire Emblem 2 nowadays.
So he likes both of them.
Yes, and yeah, I don't blame. Yeah, so I mean, and that's what we were talking about, that trajectory for a lot of those fans. Excuse me, Jared Helder with another one says Metroid Dread's combination of fluid controls and tense chase sequences through beautiful environments is perfection. The bosses are too hard though.
I don't think too hard. I like how hard they are, but I get it.
I agree. Yeah, for me they're like very difficult and then very fun to overcome as you learn the patterns. And on hard mode, I definitely spend quite a few times on some of those bosses because it's like, oh, you can only get hit twice and then you're fucked. So, but on normal mode, I liked the difficulty. It was right in the sweet spot for me. But that's going to be different for everybody. From Isaac Spencer, Pikmin forever. Maybe one day we'll get 4, and there was a heart emoji in there.
We'll get 4 one day.
I think we will. We're getting the mobile game. We're getting the AR game, Mike, from Niantic. So
no, that's right.
Yeah,
that's actually maybe the franchise I've gotten the least into from Nintendo. I just can't get into Pikmin, and I've tried a few times.
You got to try 3 Deluxe. You got to try 3 Deluxe.
At some point, I'm going to have to do that. Like that and Captain Toad are 2 of like the Wii U ports I haven't gotten around to that I kind of want to.
I think 3 Deluxe has a chance of winning you over. Let's see. And then finally, Good Morning Games says, is this a possible timeline? 2021 Metroid Dread, 2022 Metroid Prime Remake, 2023 Metroid Prime 4, 2024 new 2D Metroid. That's a lot of Metroid. To me, that sounds right.
You know, I forgot that they announced Samus Returns and Metroid Prime 4 on the same day, right? And then,
Jesus,
like, essentially, the sequel to Samus Returns came out.
The follow-up,
the follow-up, like the same team making the same kind of game.
Wow, that's messed up, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think they did announce Prime 4 when it was like nothing, and then they had to like cancel development after a year or two. So you understand why it happens. But hey, there it is.
Thank you for the super chats, everybody.
Yes, Jeff, do you want to talk? So, I mean, you've just been playing Metroid Dread. Is there anything else you've been playing? You talked about Dread already.
Yeah, no, not much. I mean, I've been messing around with a few other things on the OLED, Mario Odyssey and stuff like that. But I think, I'll probably play Hollow Knight next. That does sound like the right move. So I'm excited to do that. But yeah, I've already talked about Dread, and that's what I've been playing the most. So what have you been getting into?
Well, along with Dread, I actually played a good amount of Sora in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate last night. He's really fun. I like him a lot. They did a good job of making an appropriate moveset for him.
That sounds difficult because he's not fun when you play him in his actual game.
You shut the hell up. I'll tell you what, his double jump is incredibly floaty, and that would trigger you, and it would make me happy. Yes. He has like in general, he's a bit floaty, but his double jump goes so... It must be one of the highest double jumps of any of the characters in the game. It's pretty interesting. But just the way he cycles through the magic spells is really cool. His comboing feels great because it feels like how it does in the game. He even can trigger an aerial combo, which feels pretty unique. I'm not really sure if any other characters do that. So I was having fun just playing through with him. I'll be excited to get some friends over and do some real matches. But then I finished Aria of Sorrow, so I've now beaten all 3 of those Castlevania Game Boy Advance games. So that was
Mike,
great.
Are they good?
They're all good. They're all good, and they're all like when I first started Aria of Sorrow, I was like, maybe everyone's right. Maybe this one is just like definitely better. And you know what? It's not. I do like it a lot. It's definitely the best looking one.
Yes, of course.
It looks very good, and it really is impressive seeing how much better they got developing for that single console. When you compare Circle Moon to Aria of Sorrow, especially Aria of Sorrow's like backgrounds and stuff, there's so many cool layers. Like you'll be going through a hallway and like there'll be this blown out like wall, and you'll see this outside. You'll see the moon behind some trees and ruins, and then bats fly by. It looks very pretty. It's very cool. I was kind of shocked how less interesting the movement was in Aria of Sorrow because you don't get any kind of a dash ability really until about the end of the game. And when you do, that's really cool.
But Harmony has the front and back dash from the beginning pretty much. So yeah,
and and you get the back dash from the beginning of this one, but they gimp it a bit. It's it's not like even in Symphony of the Night where you could just keep spamming it and you kind of keep going. Here, you have to have that little slowdown at the end, so it's not like your fastest movement option. So like that was my kind of knock against Aria of Sorrow, is that the movement isn't super interesting, and especially coming off of Metroid Dread where the movement is fantastic. That was a little bit about it. The other weird thing about it is, so they do just a little bit more story in Aria of Sorrow, but it's still translated as badly as the other games. And like, there's this weird thing where like you meet like 6 different characters and you have 2 conversations with each of them. And then at the end, they all give you like the pep talk, like, we believe in you. And he's like, now I have the power to defeat the final boss. I'm like, okay, all these guys you just met 2 seconds ago. Sure. Yeah. Although the final boss is whatever, but the Julius Belmont fight is fantastic. That is super fun because it really is like, okay, you're the Dracula this time, and you're fighting against a Belmont who's using the whip, using the holy water and the cross and the axe, and that is an awesome boss fight. That should have just been the final boss fight. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah, Metroid Dread has that stuff where like you're playing against other characters who are basically the same size as Samus and have a similar moveset, and those fights are the best as well. And anytime a game does that, it is always great, and that one is very good.
Right. And the collecting souls is great. It's especially compared to some of the other games. It is neat how literally everybody has something that you can collect. Everybody has a soul that you can get that'll give you some kind of an ability. And the game has that built-in thing that lets you know if you collect it or not, which helps you. Yeah. So that's the neat thing though, is that all 3 of these games, it's funny because like even in my head, like those are all very similar, and they are, but they're all different in really interesting ways that make them all
a lot of interesting tweaks to the formula, and each one that keeps things interesting, keeps the whole series on its toes.
Right. Like 1 is significantly more challenging, which is interesting. 2 has the most interesting map and maybe the most fun movement. And then 3 is just like aesthetically the most pleasing and probably the most fun to grind through and collect everything. So yeah, there's something to all 3 of those. I had a really good time just going through that collection and playing through it linearly. Yeah,
I need to go beat Aria of Sorrow now, but I'm going to. I'm still, and how was it on the OLED? Like, did you get anything more from it? I think those games look pretty good on anything, but there's some old games that look really good on the OLED.
They look good. I mean, I know like it used to be that it was like, oh, Circle of the Moon looks really rough, like brightness wise compared to Aria of Sorrow, and they fixed all that. They're all red. Just like obviously Aria of Sorrow is a better looking game, but they all read just fine. You could tell what's going on.
Yep. A game I did forget to mention, and thank you Pablo Cost in the chat, Tetris Effect on the Switch. That game is still so good.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that too. It's a great OLED game, and very fantastic. Very good.
Yeah, because it's a lot of black backgrounds with a lot of cool bright particle effects, and it's the music's great. I don't know, it's just awesome to have that thing on the Switch, just like kind of Tetris should be on a Nintendo handheld. And yeah, I've been playing through the modes, and it's I often find myself playing Switch in chaotic environments where the kids are like running around me or whatever, and that game is pretty difficult. So it's like I'll find myself in really stressful Tetris situations. But even when that happens, I find myself like fighting out of them a lot of times, and that's so rewarding. It's still so good. Tetris turns out still a good game. That's probably the best version of Tetris in terms of just playing by yourself. Absolutely.
All right, Jeff, let's start getting out of here. I think most people got a chance to play Metroid Dread. Next week, we can talk about our favorite Metroid game. So everybody think about that. That'll be a fun one. And yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday. We'll probably start earlier again. We'll try to get back on that 11:30 time. I actually, it was my fault this time. I had a webinar that I hosted for VentureBeat about the gaming growth in India, of which Nintendo is not much of a part of. That's basically a mobile market. But it was still a very fun talk.
Should I tell people where they could find me on the internet, Mike? Is that what I'm doing now?
No, you're banned. No, yeah, go ahead, I guess.
You know what? Let's just do it real fast. I'll have to cruise and outro. I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. Follow me there. Check out our other show, Games Beat the Sides, How Games Make Money. I'm on Giant Bomb on Thursdays with Grubb Snacks. Check that out. Yeah, cool. And then join the Discord, discord.gg/GameMess. And there's links to like the Patreon, like all those community questions and all the stuff from the community on this episode. That all comes from our Patreon subscribers or people who subscribe to my Twitch as well. Go do that and come hang out with us and contribute to the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, we're figuring out an extra life thing. We're planning to do it the weekend of November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yes. So that weekend, right? We're going to figure that out a little bit more, and we'll probably have more details about that on Friday for Games Beat the Sides. Also, check out 90s Disney, my 90s Disney podcast at 90sdisney.com. We just had a debate, me and my brothers, over the best monorail resort in Walt Disney World. So Polynesian versus Contemporary versus Grand Floridian. You can vote for your favorite too. Good stuff.
All right, baby. Bye. Oh, yeah.